The news is that they put out a separate press release. They don't do a conference call. We don't get much information. They said, just check our 10K, and they haven't even filed their 10K yet. But they put out a second press release. And it said that they have, the board has unanimously approved the use of Bitcoin as a treasury asset. So this is a company, a few $1 billion in cash, and cash and other assets. Well, some of those assets now are going to be Bitcoin, and that got the stock up in after-hours trading.
GameStop isn't just a meme stock anymore. With the announcement that they'll be allocating part of their treasury to Bitcoin, the struggling retailer has thrown itself into the future of finance. The move is bold, especially for a company that still relies heavily on outdated retail models and has struggled to define a new vision. But this isn't just about financial strategy. It's about narrative. It's a company saying, we're not going quietly.
GameStop results just hitting the wire, but I should mention first, and it's probably why the stock is up, the company is announcing an update to its investment policy to add Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset. This was broadly speculated upon. We have seen the stock pop as of late in expectation of this. There's no other details in the statement, by the way. It just says, update to its investment policy to add Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset.
The lack of detail hasn't dampened the hype. Just the headline alone sent shares upward in after-hours trading. For a company that rarely surprises analysts in a good way, this was an unexpected jolt of momentum. And it raised a bigger question. Is Bitcoin the new bailout for struggling companies?
I think it would have been, history tells us that it would have been a better idea to do in September than it is right now. But now you're asking me to pick the price of Bitcoin, and that I cannot do. But that is what this company is doing. And certainly, this stock is so divorced from the prospects of this business. The stock price, put another way, does not reflect what's happening to this business that is dying.
GameStop's traditional business model is eroding. Physical game sales are fading fast, and even their collectibles haven't been enough to stabilize the ship. Enter Bitcoin, a volatile asset, yes, but one that comes with cultural weight and passionate believers. For a stock that's long been more story than substance, the synergy is undeniable.
So moving a treasury asset from cash or from bonds into Bitcoin still isn't a business. So I don't know what you get when you get GameStop shares.
Critics point out that this isn't a business strategy. It's a balance sheet maneuver. It doesn't solve the core issues, like declining revenues and a vanishing retail base. But it does give the company time. And in this market, time might be the most valuable asset of all.
I think if he's going to be buying Bitcoin, it's a strategic move, obviously, with the amount of cash he has on hand. He's going to have to do, obviously, like a broader Bitcoin GameStop strategy. And so what you said is exactly right. Like, put up Bitcoin ATMs. He can sell, they already sell trading cards that are like collectibles, basically, and you could sell those for Bitcoin easily. You could create microtransactions in like an online store using Lightning Network, where, if you're playing a game and you're like, oh, I really want this new skin on League of Legends. Like, I need to pay, 2,000 sats. Okay, boom, I want the new skin, 2,000 sats. You could integrate everything, not super easily, but it wouldn't be that hard, right? He just needs to go out and hire a couple dozen Lightning developers and a couple other, front-end, back-end game developers, and they could probably do this. And
there's more to this than just buying Bitcoin. The community is already imagining new integrations, Bitcoin for game skins, Lightning Network payments, and in-store ATMs. It would take time, talent, and tech. But with $5 billion in cash, the only real barrier might be vision.
So again, if they do this, just the rumor that one board member said maybe they're kind of thinking about Bitcoin in a potential future scenario, that shot the stock up 20%. So if they actually go ahead and smash buy, I don't see any reason why the stock wouldn't rally 80%, 100%. And then again, they can sell into that strength if they want to, or they can issue debt, or they can do, they can sell options, they can do whatever they want, and monetize that volatility, and then just use it to buy more Bitcoin. And then more and more shorts have to cover, and they're essentially using this the negative feedback loop that had worked against them, now they can use on their positive to propel their share price higher and increase their Bitcoin stack at the same time.
If executed carefully, the strategy could create a self-reinforcing cycle. The Bitcoin announcement boosts share prices. Those gains fund more Bitcoin buys. That in turn pressures short sellers and keeps momentum alive. It's the kind of recursive logic that defined the meme stock movement, and it's back with a digital twist.
You realize, because now you've seen this again and again, you start to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet and investors are paying attention again, and your share does pretty well. Now, I think there's also going to be like even more companies that come in, maybe with their intention is not to be like a long-term Bitcoin holder as a company. Their intention is to juice their stock price a little bit in the short term and then kind of see what happens.
This playbook is already being tested across corporate America. Add Bitcoin to the balance sheet, ride the market reaction, and wait. Some companies might be in it for the long haul. Others just want to surf the wave. GameStop's move could kick off a new chapter of speculative strategy for companies with nothing to lose.
It's all about imagination. What do you imagine they might want to do? And if you go on the bulletin boards and Reddit or on stock twits, you see all kinds of suggestions, even people sitting convinced they know what the company is going to do. What they're doing isn't working. What they're doing isn't good to help grow a business here. So what they might do could be anything.
For now, there's still more speculation than substance. But GameStop has one powerful asset most companies don't: a wildly imaginative investor base. The same crowd that helped launch its stock into the stratosphere is now dreaming up Bitcoin-powered futures. That collective vision might be the most important driver of all. So where does this leave us? GameStop has officially stepped into the Bitcoin spotlight, not as a fleeting experiment, but as a bold declaration of relevance in a world that's rapidly evolving. For a company long dismissed as a relic of the mall era, this isn't just a pivot, it's a reinvention. It signals a willingness to break away from a declining business model and embrace a financial movement that many still don't fully understand. Whether this strategy leads to a lasting turnaround or just a temporary market high remains to be seen, but it's clear that GameStop isn't content to fade quietly into the background. With a passionate investor base, billions in cash, and a fresh narrative built around digital assets, the company may have just bought itself another shot at the future, not as a retailer, but as a new kind of financial player.
And you mentioned tariffs. They don't really have any effect on this particular company. I mean, clearly, if discretionary spending goes down because people are worried about the economy, then they're spending even less on sort of games and hardware. But as you said, they're not spending that much in that market anyway.
Could Bitcoin really be the reset button GameStop needs? Or is this just another short-term pump in a long-term decline? Let us know what you think in the comments below.